but actually he also has a tight flight schedule, so he cannot attend this meeting. So I will proceed this session with our excellent panelists. Actually, in our country, currently, maybe there are many different situations, some regulatory issues and social, economic, or some acceptance from the public, or the regulatory issues, and technical, and other kind of many issues in promote that the theranostic and the therapeutic use of the radiopharmaceuticals in different countries. So I just promote that we want to hear that non-textualized opinion from all of the attendants in these meetings. Actually, I give 5 minutes talk to each panelist. The first panelist is the Lim from Taipei Vietnam General Hospital. Actually, in our program, the Pham was attended, but instead of him, Lim and have a talk of their Taipeian experience in the diagnostic area. You can use that stand. What?
Stand?
Yeah.
What? They said it's supposed to be relaxed. It's basically a repetition of yesterday.
Because all the audience can see you well.
Maybe 5 minutes.
I have nothing.
Thank you, Chairman. Actually, I didn't prepare much for this lecture because actually Professor Phuong, he attend this meeting, but he was so sorry that he was busy, so he cannot attend this meeting. I think currently the most difficulties we have in Taiwan for this diagnostics, first is the regulation of government. Because sometimes the old style or traditionally, the government or the institute might think the diagnostic radionuclide compound and the therapeutic compound are different. So they think they are different compounds. So if we want to apply or get the approval of the compound, so we may apply twice. This is might be the first issue we met. Secondly, the other problem we met is the financial issues. I think one of the most important factors for diagnostics is the getting fixed age or something else in general term. However, in Taiwan, most institutes or hospital we cannot afford the getting fixed age generator is not affordable by our institute. So maybe this is another issue. So in summary, I think the regulation and the financial risks are the most difficulties we have in Taiwan currently. Thank you.
Actually, can I ask some question? So you suggested some different pharmaceuticals and also financial problem anyway. But what is your main bottleneck to promote the use of the therapeutic approach in Taiwan? What is the most bottleneck to promote the pharmaceutical, radiopharmaceuticals, or the therapeutic use in
Currently,
in your country?
Nowadays, E390 microsphere for liver cancers, and also we use conventional therapy for the bone neutron capture therapy. Yeah. And
No obstacles? No obstacles to use?
still, I didn't get your point.
Okay. Okay. My question is that sometimes we have some difficulty in use, in clinical use of the new pharmaceuticals, mainly in the therapeutic purpose. So is there any problem in the clinical use of the therapeutic pharmaceuticals in your countries? Okay, you need some time for thinking about the points. Okay, we'll move on to the next panelist. And you know where that Dr. Linfeswaran from Malaysia, Begum Hospital.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ilyas and I'm from Begum Hospital, Malaysia. So as far as the challenges that we have faced, of course, it's almost similar to all the developing countries, regulatory requirements, costs, and also awareness among the doctors. So regulatory requirement-wise, in Malaysia, we're quite lucky that the Malaysian regulatory board is not very strict in the sense that if we can provide them evidence of studies that have been done either in US or Europe, they are quite acceptable. So in that sense, we are quite lucky. The regulators are quite accommodating to us. However, for example, lutetium is still considered as an unregistered product in Malaysia. So we need to apply for permits before we bring it in for each treatment. So having said that, for every week, 2 weeks prior to the treatment, we need to apply for a permit to the National Pharmaceutical Regulatory Board for exemption to bring this unregistered product into the country, and also for the cold kits involved. Otherwise, gallium imaging is widely available in Malaysia, especially in Kuala Lumpur and Penang, and the cost is also quite comparable and quite accommodative in the sense it's about USD 1,200 to USD 1,500 per gallium imaging. The cost of lutetium as well is quite significantly cheaper compared to the countries in Europe or UK. So in our country, the cost of lutetium dotatate or lutetium PSMA per cycle is about USD 8,000 to USD 9,000 per cycle. And even though it is USD 8,000 to 9,000 per cycle, most of our local patients find it difficult to afford the treatment because it is not covered by our healthcare. Because in Malaysia, more than 95% of the cost of treatment in government hospitals is covered by the government. So insurance companies as well do not cover the cost of lutetium treatment or gallium imaging for that matter. So we are working on that platform and trying to create more awareness among the insurance companies as well that gallium PET-CT imaging is an integral component of managing all these tumors. Because for now, FDG PET-CT, we do not have any restriction or limitation in terms of patients claiming insurance to do the scans. But as far as gallium PET-CT and lutetium treatment is concerned, we still have a big hurdle to cross. And awareness among the doctors and patients is also another issue, especially among the doctors. They are quite receptive to gallium imaging in the sense gallium dotatate or gallium PSA. But when it comes to treatment, they're quite reluctant to let go the patients. So most of the time what we have, the patients who come to us are always advanced, late-stage patients. For example, patients with prostate cancer who have developed extensive bone marrow disease, their platelets are all low than below 100. So that is where the challenge is, because when they come to us with those blood parameters, we can't do much as well. And most of the time, even if we give 1 or 2 cycles of nutrition, I'm talking about doses around 100 to 150 MCI. So it's about 4 to 6 gigabecquerels. They tend to develop bone marrow suppression. So that is one we are working on. We are trying to create more awareness among the doctors, especially the oncologists and the urologists, on the importance of this imaging and also treatment modality which is available. And another issue is, of course, hospitals with adequate facilities. So in Malaysia, we have very few centers which has all facilities available in one site. What I mean is a SPECT CT camera, a PET CT, and also adequate facility to treat patients. So in this sort of situation, what we do is like we co-share our facilities. So for example, if I do my treatment in the hospital, I should send my patients out for a scan. So that is how we try to manage our situation with whatever limited resources that we have. And in terms of personnel involved, doctors, there are more doctors going out to get trained. There's also one doctor from Malaysia, Ferdousi, who went to Professor Richard Pham clinic to be trained. And a lot of us are going out to other places as well to be trained. Unfortunately, the interest among the non-doctors in Malaysia, what I mean is the radiopharmacists, radiochemists and physicists is still not there, and we are encouraging more chemists especially to go out and learn more whatever radiopharmaceuticals which are available out there. So that is also another challenge that we face. Otherwise, there is a very good prospect for theranostics in Malaysia. It's, I would say, it's still in the infancy stage for now. So, thank you.
Actually, I have a slight interest about your talk that you can reduce the cost very economically good price to the patients. And how do you maintain that kind of low cost compared to the other countries?
Okay, so technically what happens in my hospital is we do the labeling in-house. So the significant cost that is involved in my hospital is getting the lutetium. So for now, we do not have a reactor which produces lutetium in Malaysia, so we have to buy our lutetium supply from overseas, and I get my supply from the Netherlands, and some of the other hospitals are getting from Germany. So the cost of lutetium is actually almost 50 to 60% of the cost of treatment involved. And we try to keep the cost low by not overcharging the patients and tailoring it to benefit our local patients. So we still can manage to treat the patients with the low cost. Of course, there's not much profit involved.
Okay.
Can you just ask each panelist during?
Yeah.
So I can personally ask Lingus afterward, but this is just to let you explain the possibility. So your hospital name is Beacon Hospital. You are just kind of a holding beacon in your Malaysia. But what about the other hospitals? So people say regulatory issues, but and you told us that regulation in Malaysia is relatively a little bit lenient, not strict. However, I heard the rumor that the other hospitals are having difficulty to inaugurate the treatment, especially not immediately. So does it because government still requires the presence of the radio pharmacist or the CGMP procedures? What kind of?
Well, I think the issue is mainly because one, they need to have the adequate facilities. So for existing hospitals, they have already gained their accreditation from the Ministry of Health. So they have no issues coming up with new treatments and new treatment modalities. So probably what we are referring to are new centers which are trying to start off services. But the biggest issue in Malaysia, I'm not sure about the other places, but there is some conflicting interests. So for example, there are some radiologists who are also trying to start up nuclear therapies. So yeah, so that's an interesting situation there, where the radiologists, of course, we don't deny their involvement in PET-CT imaging, because it is a form of imaging, and we gladly accept them to co-report PET-CT imaging. Even earlier, we had a grandfather clause where we allowed radiologists to have sufficient training in molecular imaging to report PET-CTs. But it is being misused by certain doctors where they claim that they are credentialed to report PET-CTs, and they use that credentialing to say that we also can treat patients. But in reality, they have not done any treatment. So probably that's the cause. I think probably that's
Yes.
the situation.
Yeah, so do you mean that the government is correctly inhibiting and suppressing that kind of move of the nuclear medicine practicing radiologists are trying to do the nuclear, the therapy or the therapy?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I wouldn't want to mention names, but there is a situation like that happening in my country right now.
Okay. Dr. Pham?
Just have a question to you.
Yes,
When you want to hide something from a radiologist, what do you do?
you don't hide anything. But
No, I mean, if you want to hide something
okay.
from a radiologist, what do you do?
Don't tell them what we are doing.
You put it on a patient.
Okay, put it on the patient.
I mean, this is a worst, attitude which can happen. That radiologists are now performing radioactive treatment. They are not used to interact with patients, right?
Yes.
They are not clinicians, okay? And they usually do not see patients. So I think you really strictly have, to take measures to prevent that, because that will destroy the method.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, one really needs to be nuclear medicine physician and trained in the pathophysiology and in dosimetry and in all these issues. It's not just looking at images and saying there are some hotspots, okay, we can treat that. I think this is a very severe issue.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah, thanks for highlighting the point, Prof. But actually now what we have done is we have come up with our own Society of Nuclear Medicine. So we are actively going against this practice in our country. So we are not allowing anyone who is not trained in nuclear medicine proper to offer any radionuclide therapy. And we also have a specialist board under our government, which has specified that for you to be credentialed as a nuclear medicine physician, you need to have a sufficient amount of training. So if you are a nuclear medicine physician, in Malaysia, we have to have a 4 years training purely in nuclear medicine. If you are an internal medicine physician or a radiologist, you need to have 2 to 3 years of subspecialty training in nuclear medicine. So this is what currently being strictly enforced in our country.
Okay. Actually, my another issue of mine is that late stage patients, because when we use that theranostic approach, maybe we have a very different molecular target for the different disease, even in the same category. So, but in every moment, we have to care of the late stage patients and very different kinds of disease. So I want to know that what kind of some solution for those the situation of the patient care. Maybe some of the point was answered before the before your talk. So I will give another panelist that kind of issues, and maybe one question from Jack here.
Just a simple question. You are treating Japanese patient, right?
Yeah.
I'm just curious, how many Japanese patients did you treat so far?
We haven't started fully. We are still talking to the doctors.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And we move to the next panelist, Dr. Hendra Budiawan from Indonesia. After his talk, within 5 minutes, and we maybe have a discussion about some other issues already mentioned, but some further considering point.
Thank you very much for your time. Good morning. Today I will share about our experience in Indonesia. With the population of more than 200 million people, I think the prevalence of cancer is higher than most of other countries. But the problem is the population is spread to thousand islands. There are 18,000 islands in Indonesia. And currently, our patients are increasing, the number of diagnostic is increasing. Also, the iodine therapy for the differentiated thyroid cancer. We commonly treated 20 patients for iodine ablation therapy per 1 week, and the waiting list is up to 1 year because of the lack number of facilities. So although the number are increasing, but it's still relatively low compared to our population. And I remember one Sunday during I visit Professor Pham in Germany, we have a discussion about the number of neuroendocrine tumor with Professor Pham, and we believe that we will find many neuroendocrine patients in Indonesia. So I think that is very promising in our country. And one of the constraints is the nuclear phobia, because we are very well known to the history of nuclear bomb in Hiroshima and Nagasaki years ago. So if we hear about the word nuclear, we are already scared about it. So we try to make other physicians, other than nuclear medicine, that nuclear medicine is not that dangerous. So if we come to the tumor board or MDT, we convince them that we can do something. We can give a good impact to the patients. And another constraint is the relatively low of human resources. Since 1999, we start our educations from, we have 3 to 4 residents per year. At that time, now we have almost 20 residents per year. Now we have produced 50 nuclear medicine physicians, but comparing to the population, it's still relatively low. So we plan to use the network, the available network. So with the help of Professor Dongsi, we plan to have a network in its department that connected to the broad bandwidth network that belongs to the nearest university that link to the Trans-Eurasian Information Network. So we hope that it will be give many help to us. Another concern is the high price of the procedure, because to many of our population, the procedure is still very expensive. So we try our radiopharmaceutical center, our atomic center, still trying to produce something like PSMA level with tensium gallium because capacity is very rare in our country. We are only 4 capacity now, but most government have gamma connect, so you can use tensium. And then maybe our atomic center is trying to produce our own potassium, so we can the price of potassium-based pharmaceutical is can be pressed to the lower price. So I think despite the many problems we face, I think the diagnostics will be promising. Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, one of the unique situations in Indonesia is that too many islands and some geometrical difficulty in the access of the hospital. Actually, and some shortage of the facility and the personnel. So, in my opinion, in the case, some kind of referral system is very important for the medical care to a very specific patient, or the interdisciplinary, or the public communications, something like that. So, in that case, what kind of your effort to improve those kind of referral or the interdisciplinary communication of the therapeutic approach?
Yeah, I think we try to come to any invitation from other department if they have problem or if we can help. So we try to visit them and try to convince them that we have something to do.
Can I ask Kim opinion about that? For the interdisciplinary communication of the different systems.
Well, with such an unusual situation, it seems very helpful if you set up certain we call sort of imaging or telemedicine system, so that your hospital can connect to many islands for the educating reporting physicians as well as some co-workers. So I don't know how that's possible in the future. But imaging system becomes more and more popular, even in the United States.
Thank you for your comments. And why in your country there are nuclear phobia in Indonesia?
Because in 1945 during the bomb in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan is Indian, so we are familiar.
The Japanese effect.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for your comment. Okay, let's move on to the next panelist, Pham from Vietnam. Actually, she's Vice Director of Nuclear Medicine and Oncology Center at my hospital in Vietnam.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Now I would like to start something about nuclear medicine in Vietnam. In Vietnam, now about nuclear medicine, we have many difficulties, such as we have a lack of equipment and also lack of new radioisotope, and we also a shortage of specialist staff in nuclear medicine. And we will have some direction in the future at the level of the government. Actually, Professor Michael White, our teacher, he is a member of the Protect of Health for the Government Family and Government, so that he asked the government, and the government of Vietnam was allow for development, and they have a direction for development of nuclear medicine and radiation therapy in Vietnam to the 2030. And actually, in Vietnam, we have 64 provinces, and until now, we only have 28 hospitals with the nuclear medicine department, and in only 21 provinces. So in the future, until 2013, we will expand all of the nuclear medicine in all of the provinces. And we hope that in the future, many spec city will perform in all of the provinces in Vietnam. And for the level of the Ministry of Health, all of the new techniques, new protocol for the nuclear medicine in Vietnam was permitted by Ministry of Health, and by my hospital and 108 hospital and Chợ Rẫy hospital is have a responsive for the new techniques in nuclear medicine. And when we ask for the Ministry of Health about the new techniques, they will approve for it. And for the level of the Ministry of Education, before many years ago, we don't have a specialist for the nuclear medicine. And last year, we was allowed for the training for the master and PhD for nuclear medicine. And in this year, we at Hanoi Medical University and another university, we have a specialist, one specialist, two, and also for resident doctor for the nuclear medicine. Before it's only for another specialist, but now we have we open a code for the training for the resident doctor. And for associate of nuclear medicine and radiology is combined of radiology and nuclear medicine. And the association of nuclear medicine is small in the association of radiology and nuclear medicine in Vietnam. And annually we have a conference, a meeting every year. And when we have a conference, we can say many experience and many speech about the nuclear medicine and also for the radiology. And but my hospital and 108 hospital and Chợ Rẫy hospital, we have a leader of the association of nuclear medicine, and we hope that in the future we will expand many members about the nuclear medicine in Vietnam. Now in Vietnam we only have 111 members about the nuclear medicine member. And by my hospital and 108 hospital and Chợ Rẫy hospital always have a training course for the nuclear medicine. And from last year and until now, we expand of postgraduate student. Now at my hospital, we have 10 staff, including doctor, engineer, and nurse, come to our hospital to learn about the nuclear medicine, and they will perform it in Phuong hospital. And I hope that with the project from the government to the hospital, we will expand nuclear medicine in Vietnam. And now at the level of government, they also open or expand to Big East Hospital. It is a Viet Hospital. It is a hospital in operation, and but my hospital is a general hospital, and we also have approved for the expand Bạch Mai 2. Now Bạch Mai 1 is in Hanoi, and we also have Bạch Mai 2 with a big area in Hà Nam province. It is 60 kilometers from Bạch Mai, and we hope that in the future nuclear medicine in Vietnam will expand and have a good development. Thank you.
Okay. One of the unique points in your institute is that combining the nuclear medicine and oncology and radiation oncology, and also with the radiology. So it is a very highly combined system for the therapeutic approach.
It depends on the hospital, and normally in Vietnam, the Department of Radiology and Department of Nuclear Medicine is divided, but the association of the radiology and nuclear medicine is combined, because we are afraid of that. If the association of nuclear medicine is very small, so it is difficult to organize the conference or meeting or another thing. And at some hospital, maybe in some hospital, it divides nuclear medicine department and oncology department. But in some hospital, it is combined of oncology and nuclear medicine department. So I think in my hospital and in another hospital, which is combined of oncology, radiation therapy, medical oncology, radiation therapy, and nuclear medicine. If we combine it, it is easier to have for the patient, because when the patient come to the oncology, normally maybe the oncologist will treat the patient by chemotherapy or by surgery or by another technique, but they don't know more about the new technique of nuclear medicine. So now at my hospital we have a teamwork, and for each patient of each organ we will have a teamwork, and we discuss about it. Such as for the breast cancer patient, if we have a breast cancer patient, we will discuss about it, and our team, including surgeon, pathology, and radiology, nuclear medicine, oncology, and we will discuss about what diagnosis, the precise of the stage, and also for what is the most suitable protocol, suitable method to treat for the patient.
So you mean that in your institute-based protocol, and then decided that protocol-based therapy decisions?
Yes, yes. And such as for the thyroid cancer, we also have a teamwork like that. So the nuclear medicine and oncology center invite the surgeon to come to our center, and we discuss about it. And after thyroidectomy, the patient return to our center, and we will have a staff and about the tumor and how many lymph nodes with metastasis, and after that we discuss and we divide the
Okay, I want to know that in many cases that kind of evidence-based medicine and Bacon protocol, and
yes,
there are lots of evidence comparing to the targeted or personalized therapy. So if we make a protocol by the evidence, but in most cases, the kinds of evidence guided that therapeutic drugs from the big pharma in most cases. So many of the hospitals decided the protocol for the some big pharma suggested protocol rather than some theranostic approach. So in the case, how can you make a decision between the nuclear medicine and oncology and radiology and radiation oncology, something like that?
Actually, we just discussed about each question, and after that we decide how is suitable for them. But if for the protocol from American and like in ASCO or ESMO, and after that in Vietnam we don't have enough drug, so we have to use what is suitable for the patient in Vietnam and also in another province.
Maybe Professor Pham have some idea.
Yeah, I just want to comment on the use of radiopharmaceuticals for therapy, right? There is a very nice guidance from the International Atomic Energy Agency, okay, which was an interdisciplinary effort of oncologists, surgeons, gastroenterologists, nuclear medicine physicians, over at least 3 weeks time of total meeting over 2 years, okay? And you can download this guidance free. I can give you the address, or you go to Google and enter that, from the IAEA. And it has a very, very detailed list of recommendations, which patients you should include, okay, what are the best indications, what are exclusion criteria, and so on. So for neuroendocrine tumors, this is something perfect, which took a long time. I mean, a lot of discussion between the different disciplines and so on. So you can, it's also published in the European Journal and in the Journal of Nuclear Medicine as a practice guidance. I think for other tumors like prostate cancer, we also need something like that, okay, which is international. I mean, the advantage is it's not a document from Germany or from Switzerland or United States or so. It's an international document from the IAEA. And I think this has very high credibility also for your oncologist. So you can say, look, I mean, this is a recommendation by international experienced people in this indication, okay? And ESMO and ASCO and so on, they have nothing concerning, for example, peptide radionuclide therapy.
Okay, thank you so much. Normally in Vietnam we use the Vietnamese guideline, and also sometimes we refer about the NCCN guideline.
But again, I mean, this is NCCN is. I mean, they included after approval by FDA, they included PRT, which was there since 20 years. Okay? So they only include what is officially approved by Big Pharma. But if it comes to radionuclide therapy, many of the new drugs and approaches are what we call home-proof, right? They are labeled in the department or by local radiopharmacies and so on. And this is just not in any guideline. Okay? But I mean, for nuclear medicine, there are just these major indications like radioiodine. I mean, this is established. I think there is no discussion, or I don't know about your country. So recently was a lot of discussion, as you know, in the United States and in Europe on ablative therapy after surgery, when it is needed and not needed. But otherwise, I mean, this is established. In neuroendocrine, I told you, there are international guidelines, practice guidelines you can refer to. They have not been integrated into ESMO or ASCO, right? But it's not important because, these organizations deal more with oncological drugs and not with radiopharmaceuticals for therapy. But it will be, for example, in the NCCN guidelines and so integrated. when we have finished the phase 3 studies and so on. But if you want to use it now, as a novel approach, you can refer to this practice guidance, which is, I think, high credibility.
Thank you so much for your sharing experience. I will search for the practice guideline. Because normally in Vietnam, we only know about the NCCN guideline. And today, when you talk about the NCCN guidelines, it depends on the big pharmacy. So,
yeah, of course.
Thank you so much for your
This is interest driven, right? I mean, of course, they want to sell their expensive drugs,
yes.
Okay, which is fine. And they say, okay, there is a lot of evidence because we have prospective randomized trials. But if you look at the benefit for patients of newer drugs, the advantage is often very, very limited. A few weeks or a few months, okay, for a lot of cost. And that is why I think one just have not only to consider what is recommended by oncology. Okay, of course, one has to look at ESMO guidelines, ASCO, and so on. And for example, INET's guidelines is another very, very important source for you. Okay, because this is a scientific society which is not run by nuclear medicine, but mostly run by oncologists and gastroenterologists and so on. And they also include what is there from ESMO and ASCO as a recommendation. And the INET's guideline, for example, they now contain, since 2016, PRRT, for neuroendocrine tumor of the midgut and of the pancreas. Is there written? I mean, you can refer to that, right? It's not my personal thinking or Professor Baum's recommendation, or so. It's a guideline by INET's interdisciplinary guideline. Okay, and also the ESMO, by the way, also first.
We have 2 more panelists. Yeah. Actually, I agree with Dr. Baum that maybe when I met oncology guy, they regarded the NCCN guideline as a Bible. It's an absolute protocol or something like that. But in my opinion, those kind of NCCN guideline is highly influenced by the big pharma, not for the patients personally.
Yes, I have another question to Professor. Because in Vietnam, we also have a very, very rich patient. Sometimes they come to Singapore and another hospital, another country, and they return to Vietnam and order to use a new drug.
Okay.
Yes.
We have 2 more panelists. So maybe those kind of issues can be discussed with other panelists too.
But just a concluding remark. From my experience over the last 20 years or so, I think I appreciate very much what ASCO and United States and so are doing, okay? But you should really have also an eye on Europe, okay? What are the European recommendations? Because I think if it comes to radionuclide therapy, Europe is very, very much ahead of the United States. I mean, we are using PRT since 20 years in Europe. In the United States, it was approved exactly 1 year ago, right? So they are newcomers in the field. And I think it's not necessary always to say ASCO or NCCN. I mean, Europe is also worse, right, to look at. And I think if it comes to radiopharmaceuticals, Europe is more advanced than the United States.
Thank you.
Maybe the reason why is that you are less influenced by the big pharma.
I'm not sure. The biggest company worldwide is Novartis. This is situated in Basel, as you know, which is Europe.
Okay, move on to the next panelist, Shamim, Momtaz, Ferdousi, Begum from Bangladesh. His work in the National Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Science.
Thank you, Professor Chuan. Good morning, everybody. Yesterday, in the non-translation of tea, I have presented the challenges what we are facing in our country to introduce or starting the theranostics. Today, I would like to highlight on the major hurdles of our country in this panel discussion. Among the major hurdles, the first of all, I would like to say that one hurdle, that is lack of molecular therapy related laboratory facilities in our country. We need to take initiation to establish or to upgrade our laboratories with this facility. The another one is the lack of international support for technology development or technical support. Build-up of a well-trained group or core people for theranostics is another major hurdle for us. And last of all, the lack of technical experts. Considering the basic infrastructure of NIMBAS, we are planning to introduce theranostics, this new technology, at our NIMBAS, that is National Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences. To do that, as an initiator, we are planning some interventions. That is, first of all, we want to do a feasibility study of NIMBAS for adapting or introducing theranostics in our center or institute. In this aspect, we need some expert support or expert opinion. After the feasibility study by an expert, then we will get the opportunity and that will provide us to allocate our local lackings as well as the external supports also, so that we will try to settle our own lackings, or we can try to fix our local requirements with our own by our government support, institutional supports, or overall country support. Then regarding the external technical support or international technical support, we may try through the international projects of our country, like POICA project or some IEA project. And I think in this aspect we need support from international organizations or institutes who are doing or who are the key user of theranostics. And lastly, I want to say that the dedicated team, the trained manpower or human resource in this field is very important, and we are lacking in this field also. For that, I think we need some short trainings for our working people or human resources of our country. That will be helpful to develop our theranostics in our country. And at last, I would like to say that the overall international technical support and in some aspects, logistics supports are indispensable for us to introduce the theranostics in our country, especially at NIMBAS.
Thank you. Actually, one of the unique point in your country is that government-driven promotion of in the nuclear medicine and the theranostics programs.
Yes.
So how do you contact the governmental policy making or the strategy development in your countries?
Actually, our nuclear medicines are under, most of the nuclear medicines of government is running under Bangladesh Atomic Energy Commission, which is under Ministry of Science and Technology. And we have a good collaboration with the Bangladesh Atomic Nuclear Medicine has a good collaboration with Bangladesh Atomic Energy Commission and Ministry of Science and Technology also. If we will try to start any new thing, then we can convey our message to our Bangladesh Atomic Energy Commission, then our government. I think it will be not so hard for us to do or to convince our organization and the government.
However, the policy development is one thing, and some regulatory issue is another.
Yes, the regulatory issue is also
not. How do you solve those kind of human application of the some
the regulatory issue in our country is not so hard because there is an organization that is BIRA. They are giving all the radiation related or radiation protection related clearance or scrutiny they are doing or giving us in our country. And this is a sister organization of Bangladesh Atomic Energy Commission also under the same ministry.
In your country, is there any nuclear phobia? Similar to Indonesia?
Not that much, because nuclear medicine is very popular in our country because 1961 we are giving a lot of services and it's very popular, and especially I have to recognize our thyroid division because we are giving radioactive therapy since 1975 and very popular. And because we have a big queue for the patients, because of the shortage of the manpower, shortage of the facilities, we are not able to provide the proper support to our people, but it's very popular. So there is no nuclear phobia in our country, I think so.
Maybe Japan didn't invade your country.
Not that much. I think we overcome that phobia through our nuclear medicine in our country.
Indonesia said that the Japan invades and the influence of the nuclear phobia. So, okay, thank you very much. Okay, let's move on to the next panelist, Patricia Bautista from Philippines. He worked in the St. Luke's Medical Center.
Good morning. Before anything else, I'd like to sincerely thank Professor Dr. Richard Pham for allowing me to train under him and for sharing his expertise. If not for his generosity and kindness, I wouldn't be standing here today. I'd also like to acknowledge the presence of Melvin Estonacto and Mike Torres and Dr. Eric Cruz for their help and support. So I wasn't just as a disclaimer, I wasn't sponsored by any institution or whether government or private when I left. So the first decision making that I had to do was whether to know where I would set it up. So in the Philippines, as I've mentioned yesterday, the healthcare expenditure is mostly out of pocket, and it's easier to set up something new in a private institution because there are a lot of sort of bureaucracies in government institutions. It takes a long time if you really intend to set it up there. So St. Luke's Medical Center, being a premier institution in the country, that's where I set this all up. So right now, only St. Luke's Medical Center is offering diagnostics in the Philippines. So there are plenty of challenges if you're really going to pioneer something. So first, you have to have determination. You have to have that passion and grit to realize something, to realize a dream, to turn it into a reality. So, of course, the expenses initially, and they were all incurred by me. And then when I came back, we had to really start from scratch. So first, I had to meet up with the president of the hospital and also with the board of trustees, and then come up with a sound proposal, even though I had no background on business. So, and then after that, we had to scout for suppliers, and then I had to guide the entire team on what to ask, what to request for, and then I also had to meet with the marketing team, with the Cancer Institute, with the other administrative personnel, and also with the finance. And then during the setting up, of course, they will always ask you a lot of questions, so you have to be prepared to answer them. And then you also have to be patient because as during the 1 year of setting up, somebody even told me your priority may not be their priority. When I was sort of pressuring the other staff members to come on, let's do this. So there. And then, of course, after, when you've already implemented it, when you've already set it up, you have to continue. You have to always be in cooperation with the others. You have to be careful not to step on some people's toes, especially the referring doctors, particularly in the Philippines. Of course, well, I think it's still common worldwide. I have to interact with male urologists, and then there was even one patient who told me when we had a family meeting, oh, I know what he's doing. He's trying to manipulate because he's sort of threatened by a young woman like you. And then there was this urologist who's already more senior, and then he wouldn't believe me that, yes, this is already being done in Europe and Australia, and there are a lot of data already, even though it's not in the NCCN guidelines. So I had to convince them. Unfortunately, in the Philippines, because we were colonized by the US for several years, some of them still have this mentality that if it's not in the US guidelines, then you can't do it, or there's no proof, it's not safe. So I had to really even provide them with all the research material, email them even at the last minute of, even if the lutetium was already arrived from Germany, the patient's family still wanted some.
1 minute, you can summarize?
Yes, sure. And then, of course, you also have to deal with your fellow nuclear medicine physicians that you have to, as I mentioned yesterday, have opened the door, so you have to also be open to them. And then also with the patients and the relatives, because in the Philippines, the situation is really extreme. There are those who are extremely poor and there are those who are extremely rich. So for the poor, I had one patient wherein the entire family really sort of contributed to the expenses. So they shared their finances. And then there's another family, the tycoon level rich, wherein they told me, oh, why not fly out or go to somewhere where it's more established or there's more experience. But in the end, I was able to convince them. So, thank you.
Okay. Actually, in the private sections, maybe in most cases, the nuclear facility cost very high.
Yes.
The private section does not afford those kind of things. So, in the case, what is the main problem to applicate diagnostics in the private section in Philippines?
Well, I know the price, I mean the at cost price, because we've been quoting from suppliers, and of course it's inevitable that the hospital would sort of mark it up, but then, well, that's the scenario, that's the reality that you have to deal with. Of course, the private institutions, they have to sort of have a return of investment, but if to the best of my ability, if I can control it, then I tell them that I think this is just only how much it would cost, and then right now I could say that the price is comparable with the price in Europe and in Australia and even in Malaysia. We're just a bit more expensive than Malaysia, and if it's really necessary, I'm really willing to lower my professional fee or not even charge at all if I could help a patient, because in the end this is really all about patient care.
Actually, we estimate that today's session have lots of time for discussion with some many kind of issues. But however, 1 hour is very short to considering that different situation. Thank you. You can go in. So maybe we have many chance to discuss about that. Not in the text, but not in the guideline. For the somewhat more informal and deeply scientific discussion about our strategy to promote or promote our therapeutic approach and also to have the patient cares. I'm so sorry for the Linfeswaran today, but we have to move on to the next section. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Good morning, I'm Kim from the University of California and also Seoul National University. Finally, we have the last but the most important scientific presentation. The presenter is the last, our keynote speaker, invited keynote speaker, and Professor Pham Lee. He doesn't need any introduction. We heard already his talk on radio nanomedicine this morning. He's going to give us a special talk that's brain diagnostics. I'm sure you never heard this topic in any other meetings. So please enjoy this last half an hour talk and welcome Professor Lee.
Thank you. As I promised 2 days ago, I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to just do the campaign to just expand our discipline and our recent success of diagnostics for special cancers to general brain diseases, in which I'm interested in and I'm majored in. So I prepared 30 slides, so please relax. I have 25 minutes. So we have sufficient time to catch what my imagination drew me in. So the presentation is based upon the discussion and our prior works with a PhD scientist, Professor Pham, and also next generation. Dr. Scott is in his PhD course, and he's already a board man, and he has worked, and actually I persuaded him to be interested in this topic. Diagnostics for brain. So we say diagnostics, but it is really radio or nuclear diagnostics. And if therapy for brain disease exists, nuclear procedure can guide therapy. One and the other. If not, nuclear diagnostics shall lead to discover novel therapy. However, the therapy exists is just 10%. Another 90% is not. So I'm going to just persuade you, again, we need to do the in vivo companion diagnostics to develop brain therapy. Why? The development efforts of the previous 30 decades for brain diseases have failed. So we don't have any remedy for Alzheimer's disease. We have just a symptomatic support of the Parkinson's disease. There is no explanation of the neurodevelopmental diseases, such as autism spectrum disorder or the ADHD. But ADHD has a drug, Ritalin. Or we don't understand even the schizophrenia or others. So if therapy exists here, in case of epilepsy, intractable, after combining 4 drugs, then 4 decades ago, 3 decades ago, the neurosurgeons found the remedy, the resection of the brain, and we helped them. This is a textbook routine, and also our carotid artery or brain surgeons also, or neuroradiologists, they develop stent or bypass surgery, which is working for carotid artery stenosis, and we guide with the acetazolamide spec, diamond spec, which is really prevalent in Japan. Japan has pioneered, and we learned 20 years ago, and only the 2 countries and also the Asian countries are doing this, and Western countries in advanced situation in other cases have just given up. This kind of shame and misery for the patients. And anyway, in case of existing therapy, nuclear imaging is correctly used to guide therapy. If not, so image diseases, brain tumor too, as well as brain tumor not only, but also, as I told you, in this morning, you just heard, there is a heroic effort to treat subarachnoid hemorrhage. We experienced that the SAH patients are recovering first, and to just giving the comfort and relief to the family, and then after lucid interval, they finally have another stroke, and that's devastating. Intracellular hemorrhage too. So we learned this morning that Ceria might be used. It's kind of a compassionate use. And solving then, what kind of problem do we need to solve? So many problems. But the first one is lack of endophenotypes. What are endophenotypes? The psychiatrist term. And they think that there is a genetics abnormality and psychiatric diagnosis, and they are in between cellular physiology, anatomy and function and cognition. And here, brain function is just a reduced neural activity they put, but in my opinion, there are functional imaging to inspect, and also BBB crossing in every other. So, in case of neurodevelopmental diseases, I've been involved in characterizing those autism and ADHD. PET, even PET are the same, normal. But we could just, by connectivity analysis, contribution to endophenotypes definition. And still there are animal studies to treat autism using recently oxytocin and ADHD, as I told you, Ritalin. So today's topic is failure of therapies and alternatives. And then problems are related with BBB, blood-brain barrier, and pharmacokinetics. How to simulate and overcome. So, as is well known, Eli Lilly and Pfizer lost a lot of money to give up bapineuzumab and solanezumab to treat Alzheimer's dementia. And there are opportunities, new players, which we can help. So one is Ceria, and the other is exosome. You heard 2 items this morning, and I'm going to introduce another graphene. So I'm not quite sure those 3 are going to be next generation therapeutics, but we are at the same, the starting point. So the nuclear medicine is just waiting for the development of the therapy to these intractable brain diseases, and then do the imaging to guide the therapy. No, we need to contribute, we need to collaborate with the developers. And I'm going to add 3 more slides to show you what are the scientific breakthroughs in this field. The first one is failure of AD therapy, searching for the next monoclonal antibodies not reaching brain. Hope for BBB, permeabilized in Alzheimer's disease. But we need to, they just correctly reach the conclusion that they need to just find the MCI, mild cognitive impairment, converted to Alzheimer's disease, and their BBB is in play. Then monoclonal antibodies are not going to pass to reach the even amyloid plaque or whatever, neurons and microglia. So I found that they after 30 years of the sincere work, they just try to discard amyloid cascade hypothesis, and they adapt neuroinflammation. Then, are we going to do just a PK 11159 PET? So just again, no. And have you heard that brain has an inventory? Yes. Unlike against the textbook knowledge, we learned that the brain does not have inventory. But 2 years ago, in science, the breakthrough discovery of that year included 10 breakthrough included that brain has a lymphatic, and brain is also has a lymphatic. So if you do not know, then I would like to remind you that we should learn again. It should start our pre-med course again. No, time is limited, so why don't you just find a Wikipedia and YouTube. So the first issue, brain delivery. Stereotoxic or systemic. So people are doing this kind of study. Serial nanoparticles were first used by my colleagues in the Department of Chemistry to just alleviate the Alzheimer's disease. They just try to find the effect, mitochondria targeting serial nanoparticles they coined. And then they used and they try. So how we are going to follow this kind of discovery, which was published in eminent journal, American Chemical Society Nano, as a high impact factor. Should we believe that? No. We need to find the blind spot. Problems and stereotoxic injection was done, and also confirmed by fluorescence chemograph. So, stereotoxic injection cannot be translated to clinical situations. So, we need to just do the systemic injection. So, it needs surface modifications, and you heard from Professor Simon Lee and myself for pharmacokinetics like this. And so, we were interested in helping them. So, we just used our Professor John's method to encapsulate and did the ex vivo biodistribution study here using that the formulation. We could find it's the excreted and the urine. However, there were amide bond here. So my colleague Professor Yun Lee used a click reaction. Orthogonal seemed very attractive, but there is a risk of amide bond of click design, and the capsule was detached. So discarding this method back to the Jones method, we almost found that it's different. So we have, I think we have just repeated the discovery by our German colleagues, so that some of the capsules are detected. So our tracer principle fails. Then another one, extracellular vesicle exosomes. We can quantify the brain delivery. There are many just kind of hype. So exosomes are just proposed in any place to treat, to become the treatment candidates. But we have a tool to quantify the brain delivery. Several years ago, we could just kind of do the analogy. We are doing in everyday routine to label white blood cells for inflammation imaging, infection imaging, using previously indium oxide, now technetium fields. So we used the technetium field label exosome study. So at that time we used the exosome mimetic nanovasculars. So we could find that it can just show whether the exosomes are penetrating brain or not. So upon those images, you could find the brains are void. So some of the exosomes systemically administered are going to treat brain diseases. Then how? It does not reach brain. Okay. So there is another problem here. With it, according to the report from a Taiwanese doctor belonging to a bioengineering who had been in Harvard, so he insisted that fluorescence labeled something should be cautiously interpreted, especially 24-hour, 48-hour images, and we did. So we could find here brains are void. However, the same fluorescence dye-labeled exosomes are visualized here. Brain has just kind of a released fluorescence dye recirculating almost permanently. Half time is million years. That's a kind of a exaggeration, and so reaching brain. So for brain specialists, it's a problem. So we just reported in our invited review article after the previous presentation. And there is another episode. Our earlier work using technetium champion to label exosome was first submitted to JNM. It's automatically rejected by the editor decision. It is too easy, one. So it is textbook knowledge. So there is no need to, but scientific reports has accepted. And another one is just, as I told you, percentile program of brain uptake. We know that the tumor uptake is 5%, often 10% percentile program, but in case of they are dealing with the, after some kind of Alzheimer's disease progress, 0.15% after kind of receptor-mediated one, again 0.1%, and those monoclonal antibodies did not reach brain, and they just pray, and they find the good results for 30 years, and they gave up. And BBD penetration can be done like this. And there is also a hope. Exosome might be an alternative. So we need to just study it seriously. These are single exosome on microfluidic chip. This was reported several years ago too. You can see. And you can just draw this kind of time-lapse imaging. And also we need to collaborate with the chip experts to do this kind of endothelial astrocyte neurons and brain. And also radionuclide labeled ones should be tested at first here, and then in vivo. So recently, depletion of microglia and inhibition of exosome synthesis halt tau propagation. Tau propagation, have you heard that? Published in Nature Neuroscience, and another report recently, microglia-derived extracellular vesicles in Alzheimer's disease, double-edged sword. The one edge, this morning we heard from Professor Liu. So there are controversial results. So double-edged. Some exosomes are good and some exosomes are not good. And exosome labeling was just reviewed like this. And rosy prospects were there. In my book, too, I invited best expert, one of the best experts, the Professor O, and he here listed long half-life in bloodstream, and it can be a remedy. So that's the kind of common belief between extracellular vesicle society. And the real problem is every cell in our body is releasing exosome. every cell of our body is receiving exosome. There is no way to follow. So we need to at least to use that. We need to we can examine for kinetics. Then we need to do that. So exosome physiology is another form of endocrinology. So most of you from internal medicine to become the endocrine medicine physician, we were endocrinologists. So extracellular vesicles are kind of a vesicle type of endocrine system, which is more complicated. So just a radioimmunoassay for insulin and radioimmunoassay growth hormone was a kind of a simple job, which won the Nobel Prize, but extracellular vesicle is really, body is working in a real, yeah, you can see. Once the exogenously labeled, technicianly labeled ones are behaving like that. And also, that was a mouse macrophage cell line. There was a human neural stem cell line. Grossly similar, but here you could see the lymph node here, but here no lymph node. There are already a difference. Now I'm going to move on. So novel therapy on new hypothesis or materials. I have now 6 minutes, and I'm going to go to quick. Ceria nanoparticle was already tested by our chemist colleague too. Scavenging reactive oxygen species in Parkinson's disease in midbrain. So they experimented this, and the problem again, stereotoxic injection. So it is a hype. But in case of Professor Tsumuli's one, also systemic injection, it works. So at least in mice. So I have a great hope. And tau propagation, if I convey the common information in the field of brain science, the Virginia Lee, Taiwanese American pathologist, woman pathologist, she just reported this kind of peptide propagation model, and which is working. And in that model, my colleague and actually physicist slash chemist, he tried to collaborate to use his graphene with the Professor Cole of Johns Hopkins, who is the hardcore the neurobiologist in Parkinson's disease model. He was trying to use the graphene as a carrier with the drug. Interestingly, inadvertently, they found that the carrier is working. So he finally just reported, and he was recently accepted by Nature Nanotechnology. And they used intraperitoneal injection and confirmed by tissue sections. So do we believe tissue sections? So graphene biotin injected intraperitoneally and avidin stained thereafter. For me, I do not. So problem is no imaging or PK study. So the Nature Nanotechnology reviewers, they challenged it harshly to prove the mechanism. This is a proof of concept study. So is it really the same as graphene and graphene biotin? I don't think so. But the reviewers had finally accepted, and it was published. And you can believe us. Why I say graphene? My colleague and myself, we are experts in using graphene for microRNA imaging and long non-coding RNA imaging. And finally, my colleague, Professor Pham, developed and patented his method of graphene the fish. So the inventor of fish has just named it. We try to name it GISH, G-I-S-H, but he just corrected G-fish. GISH is just a fish, GISH, something. G-fish means fish is here, G-fish, some other fishes are there. So it was accepted recently, and you know the sensitivity was increased tenfold. So we are doing also fluorescence study. So, but we don't believe this. No, we believe the data correctness of this, but we don't believe the biological impact. So everything is explained in. I was in a hurriedly made a review article. So with Dr. So, brain theranostics and radio theranostics. This is a new coined term, and actually brain theranostics was used by Sean Chen in his Journal of Theranostics. You can just find a special issue. I just borrowed his term, brain theranostics. And those theranostics should be based upon the new knowledge. First one is proposed mechanism of action. Preformed fibrils are dissolved or inhibited to form, or the proposed intercellular action of exosomes should be studied, or proposed mechanism of action of exosomes. Those two are by my colleague, Professor Pham. And the long non-coding RNA is a specific role. Please believe me and trust me. And in usual days, I'm not following the recent progress of the theranostics. Sorry, I'm reading the recent progress of the long non-coding RNA or RNA modification, which was really hard, but recently it becomes more and more familiar in epigenomic reconfiguration in adolescents. Or finally, Karolinska guy has just doing this research. Spatial transcriptomics, these are a single cell level. So, or we were involved in finding difference of endophenotypes in mouse model. This is by Higuchi of the NIRS, and Phuong. And also, this is my colleague's one we could find. He proved his drugs effect in some model, but follow-up experiment with fluorobetaline imaging, we failed. So he knows that's positive bias. His paper is Nature Communication. Our failure was not submitted. So please don't believe many publications. And also my colleague in the physics department, she is doing in vivo imaging brain RNAs. That's the way things are going. And my last slide is small molecule RNA sequencing or the small cell RNA sequencing. That kind of single cell biology are going to become the game changer to explain diseases. And I don't, even though I don't believe that precision is something, it's because that term was announced by President. President's announcement is always tended to prove wrong at the long run. So, but we need to be aware of the individual differences. So this will explain individual difference. So brain theranostics depends upon in one way, a highly advanced the molecular biology progress, and in another way, based upon the knowledge which we acquired from the nuclear medicine, trace and tracer technology. Thank you.
Well, we are right on time. We are very precisional talk. So much interesting information. I know many of you are anxious to go airport, but we will take one question or comment. Anyone? It's all futuristic. Well, it seems all clear, so maybe we'll close this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Kim. Maybe the closing ceremony will be started soon, just after some preparation of the stage. So please be seated. Thanks to all the active participants from all of your attendees, this year's Congress has finally come to the end. I'd just like to say that the last 3 days have indeed been inspiring to all of us. The work and enthusiasm you all have shown have made this a truly special event, and all of you have done a remarkable job. I suggest a big applause to each of you. Now, the final report and closing remark of this Congress will be given by Professor Shamim John, the co-chairperson of this World Congress. Please give him a warm hand.
Thank you. It's already closing. So may I ask you a question? Was this meeting successful? So this is overall final report and shows the program. I'm not used to laser pointer, I'm used to mouse. So now this is the whole schedule and we are now here. So we have 136 abstracts, 63 clinical posters, chemistry and pharmacy 34, physics and dosimetry 11, others 28. So these are posters. In case of country, Australia, Bangladesh, Belgium, Chile, China, Germany, Hong Kong, India, Indonesia, Iran, Italy, Japan, Korea, Macau,